McDonald's McNuggets are one of the most popular items on the McDonald's menu. But would you believe that they weren't even part of the starting lineup? Yes, the famous McNuggets were introduced almost 30 years after the first McDonald's opened for business. But what exactly goes into the nugget? Is the infamous pink slime theory true, or is there much more to the story? Let's delve into it and much more in this video about how McDonald's McNuggets are made. The process of making McNuggets begins with sourcing high-quality chicken from USDA-approved farms. That's the United States Department of Agriculture, and they ensure the quality and wholesomeness of food products produced on the farms. One of the first steps of production involves deboning the chicken. It all happens in massive Tyson factories like this in Tennessee. Here, workers manually debone chicken breasts using specialized techniques and equipment. One of the most common tools in this process is a conical deboning stand, sometimes called a deboning cone or bar. The worker places a whole chicken breast onto a metal cone, which is securely mounted on a workstation. The conical shape holds the meat in place while keeping the bone structure accessible for cutting. Using a sharp boning knife, the worker makes precise cuts along the bone structure to separate the meat. The knife follows the natural contours of the bone, ensuring that as much meat as possible is extracted. These workers are trained in their craft and can make several quick, uniform cuts to separate the chicken into usable portions. For McNuggets, white meat is used. More specifically, the chicken breast, rib meat, and the chicken tenderloins. But it wasn't always this way. Before McDonald's switched to using 100% white meat chicken in 2003 for McNuggets, the original recipe contained a mixture of both white and dark meat from different parts of the chicken. Why white meat? Well, the early 2000s marked a shift in consumer preferences towards leaner, healthier white meat. McDonald's, facing growing scrutiny over the fat content in its food, responded to the shifting tides by announcing that it would switch to 100% white meat for its McNuggets. But there was a problem. This change meant that McNuggets would now only use chicken breast meat, which is leaner but can sometimes be drier and firmer compared to the earlier dark meat blend. To compensate, McDonald's has to readjust its entire recipe. By tweaking the batter, seasoning, and processing methods, McDonald's was able to retain the flavor of its McNuggets. Back at the factory though, the separated chicken breast meat is ready to move on to the next step. It moves along conveyor belts like these to ensure cleanliness. Workers also ensure that no bones have made their way into the meat. After quality assurance, the breast meat is cut into smaller pieces and fed into a hopper like this. Here, rotating augers push it through a grinder. The grinder uses high-speed rotating blades or cutting plates to create a smooth, paste-like consistency. The ground chicken meat is then fed into a blender like this. Here's where McDonald's blends the chicken meat with its signature seasonings. Cornstarch is added as a binder, whereas preservatives are added to improve shelf life. Chicken skin is also added to the mixture in this phase. It acts as a flavor enhancer and binder, adding texture and helping the meat hold its shape. The goal of this step is to emulsify the chicken, making the meat evenly distributed and creating a consistent texture across the entire batch of nuggets. The next step in the process is carried out in huge forming rooms like these. The blended chicken is carried into containers and dropped into hoppers like this. Large industrial machines called forming machines are used to mold the chicken mixture into nugget shapes. The chicken mixture is pushed through the machine that shapes the ground meat into the 4 Chicken McNuggets shape: the ball, the bell, the boot, and bow tie. The shaped nuggets are placed onto a conveyor belt, which transports them into the battering system. The nuggets first enter a waterfall-style batter coater, where they are submerged in a liquid batter. This batter is typically a mixture of flour, water, and seasonings that helps to create an initial coat on the nugget. As the nuggets pass through the batter bath, the batter flows down over them like a waterfall, ensuring an even and consistent coating. The first batter dip is crucial for adhesion, helping the second layer of batter stick to the nugget. The second coat is known as the tempura batter, a lighter, airier batter designed to provide the signature crispy crunch for which McNuggets are known. The coated nuggets are then conveyed through a par fryer where they are partially cooked in vegetable oil at a controlled temperature, typically around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. This step sets the coating and locks in moisture. If you were to look inside the McNuggets at this point in the process, they would still be raw as they aren't completely cooked until an order is placed. After par frying, the nuggets enter a blast freezer or freezing tunnel where they are exposed to extremely cold air, usually around -20 to -30 degrees Fahrenheit or -29 to -34 degrees Celsius. The rapid or flash freezing process involves blowing very cold air at high speeds across the nuggets. This process ensures that the nuggets freeze quickly and evenly. The purpose of flash freezing is to preserve the moisture content within the nuggets, preventing them from becoming soggy when later fried at the restaurant. Flash freezing also helps to maintain the crispy texture of the batter by solidifying the outer coating before packaging. This rapid freezing prevents the breading from being damaged or becoming too soft. The frozen nuggets are then placed into vacuum-sealed bags. The packaging is designed to protect the nuggets during transportation and storage. Vacuum sealing helps remove excess air, preventing freezer burn and maintaining the nuggets' freshness and quality. For bulk deliveries to McDonald's restaurants, nuggets are typically placed in large, sturdy boxes. At McDonald's restaurants, the frozen nuggets go through their final cooking step. They are deep fried in hot vegetable oil at around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius for a few minutes until they reach a safe internal temperature and develop a crispy golden brown exterior. After frying, they are placed on trays and briefly drained of excess oil before being transferred to warming trays. This ensures they stay hot and fresh before being served to customers. Once cooked, the nuggets are placed in McDonald's signature cardboard packaging and can be ordered in various serving sizes such as 6-piece, 9-piece, or if you're feeling really hungry, the 20-piece. Don't worry though, you're not the only one binge eating a 20-piece McNuggets box while watching your favorite show. After all, McNuggets are the favorite comfort food of many foodies worldwide. According to a study, an estimated 34 million chicken nuggets are sold worldwide every day, with a majority of these sales occurring in America. But what if I were to tell you that these beloved snacks almost didn't make the cut? Back in the 1970s, Rene Arend, who was McDonald's executive chef at the time, was busy experimenting with a new product. He was working on something called onion nuggets, basically bite-sized bits of onion coated in batter, something similar to onion rings. But in 1979, during a conversation with Fred Turner, who was McDonald's chairman at the time, everything changed. Turner suggested that Rene switch gears and start working with chicken instead. He figured chicken was a better fit for the growing demand for non-beef options at fast food restaurants. It wasn't a huge groundbreaking idea, it was just a little nudge in the right direction. That simple suggestion turned out to be the spark that led to the invention of the Chicken McNugget. To help bring this idea to life, Turner turned to Bud Sweeney, who had helped develop McDonald's Filet-O-Fish years earlier. Bud assembled a small, dedicated team of experts to tackle the biggest challenges of creating the perfect nugget. They weren't just trying to make something tasty, they needed to make sure it could be easily produced at McDonald's restaurants all over the world. The team spent a lot of time perfecting the breading and coating. The goal was to create something that was crispy but didn't overpower the chicken. They also had to test the taste and texture to make sure the McNuggets would hold up both when frozen and after they were fried. After months of tweaking and testing, the team finally nailed it. But that wasn't the end of that. When McDonald's decided to roll out their new idea, Chicken McNuggets, they quickly realized they needed a way to produce them on a massive scale without compromising on the taste and texture. Enter Herb Lotman, the founder of Keystone Foods, a company that played a huge role in making McNuggets the success they are today. Lotman and his team were the ones who figured out the process to flash freeze the nuggets after they were partially fried. This was a game changer because it meant the nuggets could be stored, transported, and still taste fresh when they were cooked in the restaurants. But here's the thing, McDonald's still needed a reliable supplier to source the chicken. They couldn't just get the chicken from anywhere, it had to be consistent, high quality, and ready to meet the demand for millions of nuggets. That's where Tyson Foods came into play. Tyson, at the time one of the largest poultry processors in the US, was exactly what McDonald's needed. They had the processing capacity, the supply chain infrastructure, and the tech expertise to handle the scale and meet McDonald's strict quality standards. With Tyson on board, McDonald's was able to produce the chicken for the McNuggets in a way that maintained their signature taste and quality. By 1981, the McNugget was ready for a nationwide launch, and by 1983, it was available at all McDonald's locations. Tyson had become the main supplier of the chicken used in those crispy, bite-sized nuggets, and it was smooth sailing from there on. That is, until McDonald's found itself smack dab in the middle of a controversy that threatened to undo years of hard work. Yes, I'm talking about the infamous pink goop debacle in 2012. The term was coined by ABC News after they aired an investigative report about a product called Lean Finely Textured Beef, LFTB. It's essentially made from leftover beef trimmings, which are treated with ammonia gas to kill bacteria and then processed into a fine pinkish paste. The report shocked people, showing images of the slime-like substance and suggesting that it was being used in fast food burgers. The backlash was swift and fierce. People were horrified by the idea of eating something that looked, well, like slime. The public was upset, and fast food chains that used this product, like McDonald's, suddenly found themselves answering tough questions about what exactly was in their food. McDonald's, known for its strict standards around food quality, didn't just sit back and let the controversy swirl, they immediately stepped up to clear the air. First, they made it very clear that they had never used LFTB in their hamburgers. Their beef, they said, was made from 100% pure beef with no fillers, additives, or artificial ingredients. But that wasn't enough to completely settle the matter. After all, the controversy had opened up a larger conversation about the food industry, and McDonald's wanted to be sure its customers felt trusting about what they were eating. So they took even further action. They strengthened their relationships with their suppliers, making sure they could deliver even more transparency around the beef used in McDonald's burgers. The company also doubled down on better sourcing practices and promised to avoid any controversial ingredients in their products moving forward. To show they were serious about meeting customer expectations, McDonald's took concrete steps. They started removing certain artificial preservatives and additives from other menu items. For instance, they announced plans to take out artificial ingredients from their chicken nuggets, an item that had also faced criticism for containing questionable ingredients. McDonald's was determined to show their commitment to better food practices by taking action, not just talking about it. But perhaps the most important thing McDonald's did was get real with their customers. They knew that the best way to recover from the pink slime backlash was to be open about where their food was coming from and how it was being made. McDonald's launched an extensive campaign that included media outreach, behind-the-scenes videos, and more detailed information on packaging about their sourcing practices. They weren't just telling people to trust them, they were showing them why they deserved that trust. The move helped remind people of what McDonald's was all about: quality, consistency, and care. It was a hard lesson learned, but one that helped the brand reconnect with consumers who might have felt a little uneasy about the food they were eating. The result? Well, Chicken McNuggets are still a popular menu item to this date. And now you know everything there is to know about them, from invention to production to logistics. And if you're a fan of videos like this, there's plenty more on our channel.